Good evening, everybody. Tim Coet here behind the mic, set for another game for Post 59 here on First Class Radio. Fans no doubt remember the last time these two teams came together. They were the final two Zone 4 teams left in the playoffs last year, squaring off in the Zone 4 finals. An exciting series that went the distance and even went into extra innings in that deciding game before Joe White walked away with a walk-off infield single that gave Milford the victory and moved them on to state tournament play. But overall, Wachusett played Milford very tough in the regular season last year, winning both regular season games. As a matter of fact, these two teams played 5 times in total last year, regular season and postseason combined, and Wachusett was able to come away with 3 victories out of those 5 games. So a very tough opponent for Milford here tonight. Wachusett 1-1 on the season coming into action tonight. So an excellent game on tap here at Pheno Field as Milford, Post 59, takes on Wachusett, Post 42. We are almost set for baseball. Next up, we will bring you the starting lineups for these two teams. First for the visitors, Wachusett, Post 42. Leading it off is the shortstop Jordan Tevens. Keenan Kolanda, the second baseman, bats second. Batting third is the very talented starting pitcher Connor Gill, with Dan Jancora, the third baseman, in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth is the right fielder Eric Seaver, with the first baseman Tanyan Ventris batting sixth. Ryan Walsh plays left field and bats seventh, with Matt Pingitori, the catcher, batting eighth. And in the ninth spot is the center fielder Tim Post. And for Milford, Post 59, their lineup looks like this. Matt DeCina leads it off and plays shortstop. Batting second and playing left field is Aiden Wild. Andrew McMillan plays third and bats third, with Jeff Basazzi playing first base and hitting cleanup. Batting fifth is the catcher Michael Ryan, with Blake Hill in as the right fielder batting sixth. Batting seventh is the center fielder Kyle Nocera, with Drew Wild playing second base and batting eighth. And in the ninth spot is the right fielder Griffin Lynch, the identical lineup Milford produced in their 12-run output against Leominster on Sunday afternoon. Your pitching matchup, Connor Gill for Wachusett, Alex Croteau for Milford, Post 59. Alex Croteau completing his warm-up tosses out on the mound right now, set to make his second start in a Milford Post 59 uniform. In his second year here with Post 59, Alex started game 2 on the season. That was the game against Northborough on the road, and in that game, Alex went 5+ innings, allowed 3 runs on 8 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 2. So not a bad performance at all. It was unfortunately some issues with the bullpen in that game against Northborough that led to an eventual 5-1 loss. And again, Croteau coming off of a season with the Milford High School team that was extremely successful, over 54 innings pitched for the high school team, one of the top ERAs in the Hockomock League, so it's been a great year for Croteau. He's pitched a lot of good ball games here at Pheno Field over his high school career. Now an opportunity to get the start here with the Milford Legion colors across his chest. Milford, for the second straight home game, will sport their new white home jerseys. And we are set for baseball here as Croteau is ready to deliver pitch number 1 into Jordan Tevens, the leadoff hitter. And it is fouled away off to the right, and baseball is underway here in Milford. No balls and 1 strike, the count on Tevens. And the next pitch misses a little bit high, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Tevens up there on the right side against the righty throwing Croteau. Gets the sign from Ryan, now fires to the plate. Something off speed, but staying upstairs once again. 2 balls and 1 strike. Croteau, a very fast worker on the mound. Already set with his next pitch, and this is a line drive up the middle. That's going to get down in front of Kyle Nocera for a leadoff single. Tevens not wasting any time to get this Leominster offense rolling. Leominster coming in with 1 win and 1 loss so far on the season. Of course, most of these players coming off of a long trip through the Super 8 tournament in high school ball, as Wachusett Regional High School had a very successful baseball season, one of the elite teams in the state. They notched a huge victory over Zavarian Brothers High School in that Super 8 tournament. And Croteau falling behind the number 2 hitter Keenan Kolanda, 2 balls and no strikes, and that prompts a visit from Michael Ryan. Just a few quick words exchanged, a pat on the shoulder, and now Ryan heads back behind home plate. Another good crowd forming here at Pheno Field, the second home game of the season for Post 59. The 2-0 pitch from Croteau misses up and away. 3 balls and no strikes now the count to Keenan Colanda, one of just 2 newcomers to this Post 42 roster. It is a veteran-heavy club this year, and Colanda taking all the way. He takes a called strike 1. Jordan Tevens being held on at first base by Jeff Basazzi. And now they'll throw over in that direction, a low throw from Croteau. Dug out by Basazzi, and back with a dive was Tevens. Croteau back to the set. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and that's on the inside corner for a called strike 2. Croteau able to bring the count full, as Colanda sets up deep inside that right side batter's box. Another throw over to first base, this one much closer. And Tevens just able to get the hand back into the corner of the bag. Croteau peering over the shoulder at that runner once again. Now comes to the plate with the 3-2 pitch, which is high for ball 4. And the first 2 batters have reached base against Croteau here in the first. That walk pushes Tevens down into scoring position. 2 on with nobody out, and now here is Connor Gill, a very accomplished member of this Post 42 roster. Their ace on the mound, also a very good hitter. Really pitched heroically in that Zone 4 final game last season, going into the 9th inning. Throwing over 150 pitches, I believe, was the final count for Connor Gill in that game. And Gill jumps ahead of his counterpart, Alex Croteau, 2 balls and no strikes, as Croteau struggles with his command to these first 3 batters, giving Wachusett a good opportunity to take a lead. Here is the 2-0 pitch. That's a called strike. Gill thought about it, couldn't get the bat off the shoulder, and takes the called strike 1. The offense has been there in each of the first 2 games for Wachusett, scoring 10 runs in their victory to start off the season, a 10-1 win over Sturbridge. They scored 6 runs in their last game back on June 13th, but it ended up being a 7-6 defeat at the hands of Framingham. Croteau now with a 2-2 count on Gill, looking for the first out of this first inning. Both runners take off as the pitch is hit on the ground to shortstop. Stabbing it on the backhand is DeCina. His only play is at first, and the throw can't get there in time. Gill beats it out on the infield single, and the bases are loaded. So 2 hits now in this inning, with the walk in between, and a big-time jam for Croteau. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the cleanup hitter Dan Jancora at the plate. He swings at the first pitch and sends it sharply foul over the first base dugout. Putting the runners in motion was key on that infield single for Gill. It took away any chance for a force play for Matt DeCina, who had to go far to his right to make that play. As now Croteau delivers in a called strike 2 to Jancora. 0-2 the count, and Croteau could certainly use a strikeout in this situation. Here is the 0-2 pitch, and it misses up and away. No chase out of Jancora. Croteau stays perched on the pitching rubber as he receives the throw, already back into the set. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and missing badly outside. Sent Michael Ryan lunging for the pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes, a rocky start to this one for Alex Croteau, pitching with the bases loaded and nobody out. The next pitch, and this is a high fly ball out to left field. In at first was Aiden Wild, now backpedaling. Relatively deep out in left field, he makes the catch. His throw comes into third base, as into score comes Jordan Tevens with the first run of the game. And the sacrifice fly out of Dan Jancora gives Wachusett a 1-0 lead. A good play out of Aiden Wild to send that throw into third base. It keeps the runners at first and second with now one down. Keeps a double play in order. And now here is Eric Seaver, the right fielder, who takes a called strike to open up his at-bat. Connor Gill, the runner at first, with Keenan Kolanda at second. Here's the 0-1 pitch. This is popped up foul up over the backstop and out of play. The sky's starting to darken again here in Milford. Some heavy cloud cover rolling overhead. Here's the 0-2, and again hit over the backstop. This one with a little bit more authority off the bat of Seaver, but it stays an 0-2 count. Seaver, wearing 22 on his back, digs back in on the right side. Here's the pitch. The runner takes off for third. The pitch is a ball. The throw is high down to third base. And safe in there at third base is Keenan Kolanda. He broke on the pitch, made it into third base safely. Meanwhile, Connor Gill made his way down to second base on the throw from Michael Ryan, so it ended up being a double steal. Now the 1-2 pitch, a little too far outside. So the conventional double play now off the table for Milford as Kolanda moves to third, Gill to second. Two in scoring position. And a 2-ball, 2-strike pitch about to be thrown by Croteau. Here it is. And this is a line drive up the middle. That gets through for a base hit. In from third base comes Kolanda. Connor Gill was held at first, but now comes to the plate. He will score. The ball boxed around on the infield by Jeff Basazzi, and down to second base safely goes Seaver. So a 2-run single for the Wachusett right fielder. And big-time damage on the scoreboard here in the first for Wachusett. They are up 3-0. And that could certainly go as an error on Jeff Basazzi on the infield, as that throw came in from center, rolled all the way past the pitcher's mound. Basazzi taking a long time picking it up, not looking at the runner, and a heads-up play from Seaver, who moved down to second base. So an RBI single. He takes second base on the E3. And yet another runner in scoring position for post 42. Now first pitch swinging Tanyan Ventra sends it in the air out to center field. The catch is made by Kyle Nocera. And Ventress down quickly for the second out in the inning. Already now the 7th batter coming to the plate in this first inning. And it is the left fielder, Ryan Walsh. 3-0 Wachusett with the lead. Not yet done with the top of the first inning. Here's the first pitch to Walsh. It's in for strike one. Wachusett immediately putting the pressure on Milford. Here's the 0-1 pitch now with Ryan setting up outside. And it misses for a ball. It initially popped in and out of the glove of Michael Ryan, but dropped right at his feet. The lights are on here at Pheno Field with the skies relatively dark. Croteau, the windup and the pitch. This is hit in the air, out to center field. A long run for Nocera. It's over his head. And around to score from second base easily is Eric Seaver. An RBI double by Ryan Walsh, and up the Wachusett lead now to 4-0. Walsh able to get into that pitch. Nocera going back in a full sprint, but could not get to it. And 2 bases for Walsh, another RBI in the inning for Wachusett. And now the 8th batter to come to the plate in the inning, Matt Pingiatori, the catcher, sends it on the ground to second base, fielded by Drew Wild, he will throw to first for the out that finally ends the inning, but Wachusett sends 8 of their 9 men to the plate. They score 4 big runs, and with just half an inning in the books, Wachusett up 4-0. Milford will look to respond as they take their first swings of the game when we come back next here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. Wachusett doing some damage on the scoreboard against Milford right away in this game, scoring 4 runs on 4 hits against Alex Croteau. Taking control of this game early, and those are 4 big runs on the scoreboard as the ace of this Wachusett staff, Connor Gill, warms up, about to pitch the bottom half of this first inning. This is a pitcher that has faced Milford quite a bit over the course of his Legion career and has pitched very well. Again, we look back to those Zone 4 final games between Milford and Wachusett last season. Connor Gill pitching that deciding game, pitching so well. And a chance to pitch with some confidence here in the bottom of the first inning as he gets set to face Matt DeCina. He is ready with his first pitch of the inning, and it's up high for ball 1. You have to think revenge is on the mind of Connor Gill after the last time he pitched on this field. Pitching 8+ innings, allowing just 1 unearned run on 7 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 10 against Milford in that infamous Game 3 of the Zone 4 finals. And already with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes against Matt DeCina. Milford putting up 5 runs in their first inning against Leominster 2 days ago, hoping to generate some first inning offense here to put themselves back in this ball game. A full count now to DeCina. The lefty ready at the plate, the righty Connor Gill ready with the pitch, and it misses for ball 4. So staked to a 4-0 lead, Connor Gill with a leadoff walk in the bottom half of the inning. And now here is Aiden Wild for the 2nd straight game. Aiden Wild batting out of the number 2 spot. They will immediately check on Matt DeCina, and a very strong pickoff throw from Gill made it close, but DeCina able to get back. The first pitch into Aiden Wild is low for ball 1. Milford sporting their exact same lineup here tonight that they utilized in their first home game against Leominster. Coach DeVito feeling like he found the right mix in that game, not wanting to mess with it. As Aiden Wild takes a big swing and a miss at the 1-0 pitch from Gill. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs. The leadoff runner at first base for post 59. And the pitch in at the knees for a called strike 2. Aiden Wild setting up with that foot right on the back line of the batter's box on the right side. And another pickoff throw over to first base. Again, DeCina able to get in safely. Gill to the set. Here's the pitch, and it's swung on and missed for strike 3. Snap throw to first base, and DeCina is back safely. So a strikeout of Aiden Wild for the first out in the inning. And that brings up Andrew McMillan. McMillan has hit safely in each of the first 4 games on the season for Milford, batting .417 on the early year. And Gill continues to pay very close attention to DeCina at first base, sends another pickoff throw over there that was close. McMillan with 5 hits in his first 12 at-bats on the season. 3 of those hits have gone for extra bases. He has 2 doubles and a triple so far on the season, 1 run batted in. Jumps ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Gill with the next pitch. Outside, ball 2. DeCina returns to a big lead at first base, undeterred by all of the pickoff throws. As the 2-0 pitch is swung on and missed for McMillan, he had a healthy cut at that pitch. Two and one now the count. The next pitch from Connor Gill is low. Again, they will snap throw to first, and again, DeCina is back safely. Matt Pingatore, the new member to Post 42, not afraid to send those throws from behind the plate down to first. Here now is the 3-1 pitch, and this is hit in the air foul off to the left and out of play. We have not yet seen Matt DeCina attempt a stolen base. But Wachusett has been conscientious of the speed of DeCina. Another pickoff throw, and again in with a head-first slide. Wachusett anticipating DeCina might be off on the upcoming 3-2 pitch. He's back out to a lead. He goes. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw down is to the first base side of second, and no chance for the shortstop to swipe the tag down. So a successful steal for DeCina. Meanwhile, the second strikeout of the inning for Gill as McMillan goes down. It puts a runner in scoring position for Milford with 2 outs, and now Jeff Basazzi due up. And Basazzi swings at the first pitch and fouls it off the catcher's gear for strike 1. Basazzi playing in his second straight game at first base. Here is the 0-1 pitch, and a half-hearted swing and a miss from Basazzi on a pitch that was outside and low. Tried to change his mind mid-swing, but could not. And Connor Gill 1 strike away from striking out the side. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and it is swung on and missed. A 3-pitch strikeout of Jeff Basazzi. And an impressive first inning for Connor Gill after the leadoff walk. Strikeouts to Aiden Wild, Andrew McMillan, and Jeff Basazzi to end the frame. So 1 full inning complete now from Pheno Field, and it is a 4-0 lead for the Wachusett Wombats here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Alex Croteau looking for a bounce-back inning as he prepares to pitch here in the top of the second. And the number 9 man, Tim Post, with a bunt attempt on the first pitch. Andrew McMillan opting to let it roll, and it hugged the grass on the third base line all the way down, remaining in fair territory. And Tim Post with a bunt single to lead things off here in the second. Coach Chuck Tidman making sure his team is always fundamentally sound so you can be prepared for just about anything when this team comes to the field. A good bunting team, a good hitting team, good defense, good pitching. And they have demonstrated a little bit of all of that in just the first inning plus. So the leadoff base runner on, and now right back up to the top of the lineup, Jordan Tevens. Starting off with a count of 0-1, and now it will be Croteau who will be mindful of the runner at first base. The 0-1 pitch in for a called strike 2. Good movement on that pitch from Croteau to the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Tevens singled and scored in his last at bat. Here's the pitch. Stays high for a ball. Croteau peering in for the sign. Now checking over at first base once again before delivering the 1-2 pitch. Not missing by much, but ruled ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jordan Tevens, the shortstop. The next one on the way. This is hit in the air out to right field. Heading over is Blake Hill. He's underneath and makes the catch. And Tevens is retired for out number 1. Back to the first base bag goes Tim Post. Defensively for Milford, it is Michael Ryan behind the plate with Andrew McMillan at third, Matt DeCina at short, Drew Wild at second, and Jeff Basazzi at first. Left to right in the outfield, Aiden Wild, Kyle Nocera, and Griffin Lynch. All in support of Alex Croteau, the starting pitcher. Now it's Keenan Colanda who first pitch swinging, sends one out to shallow center field. A sliding attempt by Nocera, but he can't make the catch. Going from first to third was Tim Post. He got an excellent read on that ball. Knew that Nocera was not going to have a chance to make the catch, and he hustled all the way to third base on the single by Keenan Colanda. And runners now at the corners for post 42 with only 1 out. Already 6 hits now in the game for Wachusett. Just 1 out deep in the top of the second inning. Connor Gill, meanwhile, takes a called strike 1 from Croteau. Gill was able to beat out a ground ball to shortstop for an infield single last inning. He came around to score. And now takes a pitch low, a nice block from Michael Ryan. 1 ball and 1 strike. Already a lot of pitches for Alex Croteau, and Brian Ireland already loosening in the bullpen. This is a ground ball hit to third base, fielded by McMillan. The throw to second out there, that's all they'll get. As in from third base comes Tim Post to score. Connor Gill reaches on the fielder's choice. He'll be awarded the RBI as Wachusett tacks on to their lead. It's now a 5-0 score. Colanda erased from the bases. There are now 2 outs in the inning, and here's Dan Jankura, who drove in the first Wachusett run last inning on a sacrifice fly. Starts off looking at strike 1. Croteau's pitch, it's down in the dirt. It kicks away from Michael Ryan, and down to second base goes Gill. Croteau has just not had an opportunity to get comfortable in this start. Wachusett very aggressive. Here's the 1-1 pitch. This is a line drive out to left field. Will it stay up? It will for Aiden Wild, who comes on to make the catch. And that is the final out here in the top of the second inning, but Wachusett is able to score an additional run. And as we head to the home half of the second inning, Milford with some work to do. They trail Wachusett by a score of 5-0. You're listening to coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on WMRC First Class Radio and streaming online at WMRCDailyNews.com. Wachusett with 5 runs on 6 hits through their first 2 offensive innings. Milford no runs on no hits with 1 error so far on the evening. They will send batters 5, 6, and 7 to the plate here in the bottom of the second inning. Michael Ryan with his first look of the evening at Connor Gill. Gill into his windup, ready to deliver the first pitch of the frame, and it's inside for ball 1. Gill a leadoff walk last inning, but then dispatched Aiden Wild, Andrew McMillan, and Jeff Basazzi, all by way of the K. And now evens up the count against Michael Ryan at a ball and a strike. Gill, another quick worker on the mound. Gets a swing and a miss out of Michael Ryan, and the count goes to 1-2. Ryan coming into action this evening with a .286 batting average in 4 games played. Here's the 1-2 pitch. A bit inside, and the count evens at 2. Ryan with 4 hits so far on the season, 3 runs batted in. And the 2-2 pitch, a tapper foul over towards the Milford on deck circle. As I mentioned, Milford once again sporting their brand new home uniforms. Wachusett, meanwhile, in their black road jerseys with white pinstripe pants. Four straight strikeouts now for Connor Gill, overpowering these Milford batters early on. Matt Tessina able to reach on the walk, but so far all of the outs recorded on strikeouts. And here comes Blake Hill. Blake Hill also has hit safely so far in each of Milford's first games on the season. Can't catch up to the first pitch fastball from Gill, and he'll start off behind in the count, 0-1. Blake Hill with a .462 batting average. And takes a called strike. He is down in the count, 0-2. Connor Gill not messing around. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it is swung on and missed. An excellent fastball from Connor Gill, and so far these Milford batters have not come close to catching up to it. Five consecutive strikeouts for Connor Gill. And now here's Kyle Nocera. He's able to catch up to the fastball, and he delivers it high out to left field over the head of Ryan Walsh, and it'll be extra bases as this one rolls all the way to the fence. A wide turn around second base for Nocera before retreating to the bag. A quick bat for Kyle Nocera, who's able to break up that strikeout streak for Connor Gill as he collects a 2-out double. That ball very well hit by Nocera, getting up and over the head of Walsh, rolling all the way to the fence, which is about 346 feet from home plate. Puts a runner in scoring position with 2 outs ahead of Drew Wild. And Wild takes the first pitch for ball 1. Drew Wild, a batting average of .444, 4 hits in 9 at-bats. He sends a pitch to the backstop, evening the count at a ball and a strike. Drew Wild with 1 extra base hit so far on the season, 2 runs batted in. He has drawn 3 walks. The 1-1 pitch inside and low, gathered in by Matt Pingiatori, the catcher. Defensively for Wachusett, it is Pingiatori behind the plate with Dan Jancora at third, Jordan Tevens at short, Keenan Kolanda at second, and Tanyan Ventris at first. Left to right in the outfield, Ryan Walsh, Tim Post, and Eric Seaver. With Connor Gill pitching. A 2-1 offering on the way, and Drew Wild fouls it off to the left and out of play. Once again, sun peeking through the cloud cover here at Pheno Field, streaking sunshine across the infield, particularly across home plate and also out in left field. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here is the pitch, and it is swung on and missed. And the side is retired. Striking out the side for the 2nd consecutive inning is Connor Gill. Again, he has recorded all 6 outs so far in this game on strikeouts. Milford leaves a runner in scoring position, and as we head to the 3rd inning, it is Wachusett 5 and Milford nothing here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, WMRC First Class Radio. Alex Croteau already set to begin the top half of the third inning. He delivers a called strike one into Eric Seaver, the right fielder. The number 5 hitter will lead things off for post 42 here in the third. And now sends a hard ground ball foul into the Wachusett dugout. Pops right back out again. And Croteau jumps ahead of the leadoff batter, 0-2. Croteau could certainly use a calm inning as his 0-2 offering drifts up and away. Croteau with 5 runs on 6 hits allowed through the first 2 innings. The 1-2 pitch waved at and missed. Seaver went lunging for one, and there is the first strikeout for Alex Croteau. A strikeout now to go along with a single walk. Croteau able to retire the leadoff batter for the first time tonight. And now here is Tanyan Ventris. He sends a pitch on the ground to shortstop, off the heel of the glove of Matt DeCina, and Ventris will reach. DeCina came charging in. That one took a little bit of a hop on the infield dirt. Glanced off the heel of DeCina's glove. And the E6 allows Ventris to reach with 1 out in the inning. It's the second Milford error tonight. Ventris had been 0 for 1. He's able to reach here with 1 down, and now Ryan Walsh, who drove in a run with a double his last time up, will come to the plate. He swings at the first pitch, hits it in the air out to center field. Not too deep. Nocera able to make the catch. And the throw gets past both DeCina and Drew Wild in the middle of the infield, but it's backed up by the pitcher. Ventris remains at first base now with 2 outs in the inning. And here is Matt Pingatore, the catcher, who grounded out to second base to finally bring an end to Wachusett's first inning rally, sending 8 of their 9 men to the plate. Croteau starting off the at-bat with a called strike 1. And now 0-2 the count. Already now, Pingatore is the only member of the Wachusett lineup not to reach base. Here is the 0-2. And in tight on the hands of Pingatore. And it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Dan Jankura has also not reached base. However, he did drive in a run in the first inning with a sacrifice fly. So only 2 members of the Wachusett lineup have not yet been able to reach against Croteau, who now has a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Matt Pingatore. Croteau sets. Here is the pitch. And just getting a piece of that one was the Wachusett catcher, fouling it straight down. The ball staying around home plate, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the inning. A subdued Milford crowd so far, looking for some offense on their side. Here is the 2-2 pitch, and it's a liner out to shallow center field. It gets up over the leaping Matt DeCina, who had traveled just out onto the outfield grass to try to reel it in. But it goes as a 2-out single, pushes Ventris down to second base. That ball right off the end of the bat of Pingatore, but was able to drive it enough to get it over the infield for post 59. So 2 on now with 2 out, and here's Tim Post. He swings at the first pitch and hits it to first base. It gets over the glove of Jeff Basazzi. Coming around from second base is Ventris. He will score. Milford taking a while to get to that ball as Griffin Lynch finally brings it back in. It is an RBI single for Tim Post, and now a 6-0 lead for Wachusett. It looked like Croteau was going to be able to get out of this inning with no harm done. But Wachusett coming through with 2 outs. And it's going to be an early exit from this game for Alex Croteau. He cannot get out of this third inning. Coach DeVito calls upon Brian Ireland to try to finish things off here in the third. So we will take a quick break for the pitching change. It will be Brian Ireland taking over on the mound when we come back next here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. Well, a tough night on the mound for Alex Croteau. He is only able to get 2 2/3 innings deep into this performance here this evening, allowing 6 runs on 8 hits to Wachusett. He walked once and struck out one. He is responsible still for the runners at second and third. It is Matt Pingatore, the lead runner at third base, with Tim Post at second. He just drove in the 6th Wachusett run. And now once again we go back up to the top of the Wachusett lineup, and Jordan Tevens up right now with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Brian Ireland already making his 3rd relief appearance on the year. Sends a pitch on the outside edge to Tevens to bring the count to 1-2. Brian Ireland has not yet allowed a run in those 2 previous relief appearances. Here is the 1-2 pitch. It's hit on the ground towards second base, fielded by Drew Wild. A little trouble getting it out of the glove, but he gets the throw to Basazi in time for the out. That ends the inning. So Ireland does the job, but Wachusett posts another run in the inning. And as we head to the home half of the third inning, it is now a 6-0 deficit for Milford. Wachusett in control of this one on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. The Milford bench getting rowdy here as Griffin Lynch steps to the plate, trying to re-energize this Milford team that has been back on its heels since really the first pitch. Wachusett with 4 runs in the first inning and single runs in the second and third. They are owners of a 6-0 lead as Lynch leads off the bottom of the third inning. A 1-1 pitch on the way, and it's fouled off, rolling behind the plate. Griffin Lynch, a terrific offensive day against Leominster on Sunday afternoon. A 2-for-2 day, a single, a triple, 3 runs batted in. About to see a 1-2 pitch. That's a bouncer. It ricochets over towards the third base side of the plate. The count evens to Lynch 2-2. Milford with just 1 hit so far in their first 2 innings. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And Lynch just able to get a piece of that one. The catcher Pingatore couldn't snag it. A foul ball that keeps Lynch alive just barely. Connor Gill right back into the windup. Here is the pitch, and that is swung on and missed for strike 3. And you can make it 7 strikeouts as we are just 1 out deep in the bottom of the third inning. And Connor Gill continues his streak. He has recorded every out so far on a strikeout. Now we'll go second time through the Milford lineup. Connor Gill failing to retire just 2 batters the first time through the Milford lineup. DeCina was one of those batters who worked a leadoff walk in the first. As this pitch goes inside, nearly hits DeCina. He was able to jackknife out of the way. And DeCina ahead of Gill again, 2 balls and no strikes. Now swinging away is DeCina, he fouls it off. Our good friends from Milford TV here covering the game. And we're also here covering the home opener on Sunday, so you can expect both of these games to be replayed on Milford TV within the next week or so. As DeCina now hits the ball on the ground to the shortstop, Jordan Tevens, who sends a strong throw to first. And there is an out on contact for Milford. Almost an accomplishment in itself. But a 6-3 ground out brings the second out of the inning. And now here is Aiden Wild. Wild takes a pitch for strike one. And every strikeout has been a swinging strikeout for Connor Gill through the first 2 2/3. One ball and one strike to the freshman Aiden Wild, just about finished up with his freshman year at Milford High School. Swings at this pitch and sends it out to shallow right field, and that's going to drop in for a hit. Second baseman, first baseman, and right fielder all converged, and it dropped between the three of them. A Bermuda Triangle out there in shallow right field, and Milford will take it as they are able to get a 2-out base runner on the single. Good speed at first base in Aiden Wild, and now Andrew McMillan a chance to bat in this inning. And the first pitch grabs the outside part of the plate for strike one. Andrew McMillan, a strikeout victim in his first at bat, as were most of these Milford batters. Here is the 0-1 pitch, and a very late swing and a miss from McMillan. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning, a lead at first base for Aiden Wild. The pitch on the way, it's up high. 1-2 the count to McMillan. Lefty batter versus righty pitcher with 2 outs here in the third. Here's the pitch, and it's fought off foul down the third base line. Mike Caffarella has grabbed a bat and come out on deck. So it's possible Jeff Basazzi is no longer going to be a factor in this game, as Andrew McMillan fouls away another one. We did see a tough play defensively at first base where Basazzi was not charged with an error, but he let a ball get over his glove that could have been played into an out by a more experienced first baseman. Another 1-2 pitch, and this is a line drive from McMillan. That gets out into center field. It's going to roll under the glove of Tim Post, and they're going to wave Aiden Wild all the way to the plate. He will score without a throw. It's a 2-out RBI double by Andrew McMillan, and Milford is on the board. It is now a 6-1 score. Good 2-out, 2-strike hitting by Andrew McMillan. And another extra base hit for McMillan. Already his 4th extra base hit in 4 games on the year. He drives in a run as Aiden Wild scores. And it will indeed be Mike Caffarella who bats here in the cleanup spot. Jeff Basazzi out of the game, as Caffarella jumps ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. So Milford trying to put together a string of 2-out hits here to try to chip into the deficit. They have grabbed a run, looking for more. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and it's a swing and a miss. Caffarella trying to jump on the fastball of Connor Gill, but he was late on the swing. And it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And now another waving swing and a miss, and it evens the count. A throw down to second base from the catcher, Pingatore, and McMillan slides back in. He is unafraid to throw to any base at any time. A 2-2 pitch on the way. It misses up and away, and the count runs full. Wachusett has a strong legacy at the catching position. Cam Ruziak, a longtime player for Wachusett, no longer with the club, as the 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. And Caffarella out on strikes to end the inning. But Milford does grab a run on the 2-out RBI double by Andrew McMillan. And as now we have completed 3 innings of play from Pheno Field. It is a 6-1 score. Wachusett with the lead. You're listening to coverage of Milford Legion Baseball right here on First Class Radio. After making the pinch-hitting appearance for Jeff Basazzi in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, Mike Caffarella remains in the game, now taking over at first base. That is the only change for post 59 in the inning. Brian Ireland, who finished off the top of the 3rd inning on the mound, will now start his first full inning of relief. He was able to induce the ground out of Jordan Tevens to end the top of the 3rd inning with 2 in scoring position. He will deal with batters 2, 3, and 4 in the Wachusett order. Keenan Kolanda leading it off. A name that just rolls off the tongue for the Wachusett second baseman, Keenan Kolanda. Quickly jumps ahead against Brian Ireland, 2 balls and no strikes, and now gets into this pitch. Sends it far down the left field line, but foul. Almost getting to the outfield fence on a line, but into foul territory. 2 balls and a strike now on Kolanda. He walked and scored in the 1st inning, singled in the 2nd, and then was erased on a fielder's choice. Here's the 2-1. This is softly hit out to shallow center field. On comes Nocera. Did he make the catch? No, it pops out of the glove. Nocera again trying to go into that feet-first slide to make the catch. It was hard to tell if he had the ball in the glove and dropped it, or if the ball one-hopped him. But it should go as a leadoff single for Kolanda. And now first pitch swinging, it's Connor Gill, who sends one deep in the hole at shortstop. A diving play by DeCina, but he has to just keep it in the glove. No chance to get the throw to first base in time. And that's the 2nd time in 3 at-bats that Gill has sent one deep in the hole at shortstop and has left DeCina with no play. A 2-for-3 day now for Connor Gill, the pitcher, and back-to-back singles for Wachusett. And now they go to work offensively against Ireland. Ireland with a first pitch into Dan Giancura that misses for ball 1. Giancura with an RBI on a sac fly in the 1st inning, hits one right back to the pitcher. Ireland will throw to third base for the out there. The throw to first, not in time for the double play. But a good heads-up play from Ireland to cut down the lead runner. Andrew McMillan then unleashing a quick throw over to first base, trying to double up Giancura. It was a bang-bang play at first, but Giancura able to beat it out. So the force play at 3rd erases Kolanda. Runners at 1st and 2nd base now with 1 out for Wachusett. And now the right fielder Eric Seaver up for the 3rd time. The first pitch misses for ball 1. Seaver with an RBI single back in the 1st inning, also scored a run. And he struck out swinging against Alex Croteau to lead off last inning. This pitch from Ireland, a hard fastball that misses low. Ireland falling behind in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Now 3-0, another pitch misses low. The fewest amount of batters Milford pitching has faced in an inning so far tonight has been 5. Facing 8 batters in the 1st, 5 in the 2nd, 6 in the 3rd. And it has been 4 batters so far in this 4th inning as Ireland issues ball 4 to Seaver. It is the first walk for Ireland, the second walk for Milford pitching. And that base on balls loads the bases for Wachusett with only one out. The force play at third base preventing a scoring opportunity so far for Wachusett, but they've got a big opportunity here with the bases full and Tanyan Ventris at the plate. Another pitch misses the zone from Ireland, and Michael Ryan will head out for a chat. Again, Wachusett scoring a total of 16 runs through their first 2 games on the schedule. And the 1-0 pitch misses outside from Ireland. Brian Ireland last worked on Friday evening in the game against Grafton Hill. Pitched 2 1/3 innings of relief. In a jam here, here's his 2-0. It's fouled off by Ventris. Ventris reached on an error at shortstop by Matt DeCina last inning. It proved to be a crucial play in the inning. Here's the 2-1. And that misses low for ball 3. So gut check time coming up for Ireland. 3 balls and 1 strike with the bases full of Wachusett runners. 1 out in the frame. Ireland to look in for the sign. Now he comes set. Here is the 3-1 pitch, and it's in for a called strike 2. Ventris a fly out in the first inning. And reaching on the error in his last at bat and scoring a run. About to see a 3-2 pitch. He hits it off the end of the bat out to right field. This is big trouble. It's down for a hit. 1 run is in as Connor Gill scores. Wachusett will try to score a second run in the inning. They will, as Dan Jankura comes around from second base to score as the throw comes into second base. Safe there on the 2-run double is Ventris. And Wachusett now with an 8-1 lead. Ventris just sticking the bat out. He flicked that pitch down the right field line in fair territory. And it allowed both Gill and Jankura to score. Eric Seaver now at third base with Ventris at second, so 2 more in scoring position with still just 1 out now for Ryan Walsh. And Walsh sends a high fly ball out to right field, twisting towards foul territory. And that will drift out of play as Griffin Lynch chased that one down into foul territory, but could not get to it. A 1-ball, 1-strike count on Walsh, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI double. Wachusett loading up the stat sheet through these first 4 innings. Making a statement here, as no doubt this team came in with revenge on their mind after they were eliminated in the playoffs by Milford in the deciding game of the Zone 4 finals a year ago, as now Walsh lifts a pitch in the air out to left center field. Nocera underneath to make the catch. The runner tags, and scoring from third base is Seaver as the throw comes into shortstop. A sacrifice fly for Walsh. And a 9-1 lead for Wachusett. And Wachusett with decent offensive success against Milford in the regular season last year. They defeated Milford here at Pheno Field in the regular season last year by a final score of 6-0. That was another game in which Connor Gill pitched very well. A 2-hit shutout for Gill in that game. As now Matt Pingatore sends a pitch out to center field. Backing up is Kyle Nocera. He makes the catch. And the top of the 4th inning comes to an end, but 3 more runs come home to score in the frame for Wachusett. And they are up big in this one now, a 9-1 lead for Post 42 over Milford Post 59. Stay tuned to coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on First Class Radio. Nine to 1, Wachusett leads it over Milford as we enter into the bottom half of the fourth inning. 9 runs on 11 hits so far for Post 42, playing error-free baseball. Milford, meanwhile, just 1 run on 3 hits. They've committed 2 errors so far in the game, and they will send batters 5, 6, and 7 to the plate against Connor Gill. And again, taking a look at that pitching performance for Connor Gill against Milford during the regular season last year as he deals in strike 1 to Michael Ryan. Just a 2-hit shutout performance in the game. He allowed 4 walks but struck out 9 as meanwhile Michael Ryan gets into this pitch, drives it into the gap in right center field. He will touch second base, cruise right on to third, and he will get there standing up with a leadoff triple. So in the midst of discussing the quality pitching of Connor Gill, delivers a pitch into Michael Ryan that was clubbed out into the right center field gap. And a leadoff triple for the Milford catcher, and Michael Ryan animated at third base afterwards, compelling his teammates to follow suit as now Blake Hill stands in and takes the first pitch for a called strike. Another live fastball out of Gill, but it's low. Gill needed just 3 pitches to strike out Blake Hill in his last at bat. Here's the 1-1 pitch, it stays high. And Connor Gill has not had to pitch very much tonight. Out of the stretch, he really stays mostly in his full windup here with a runner at third base. As the count now goes to 3-1 against Blake Hill. Gill back into the windup. Here's the pitch, a swing and a foul tip into the mitt. And that fills the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Hill, batting with Michael Ryan at third base and Milford in dire need of runs, trailing this game by 8. And Blake Hill now steps out of the batter's box, granted time. Gill ready with his 3-2 pitch. It's hit in the air foul, off towards the left and out of play. Gill swiping some dirt away from the pitching rubber before setting up shop. Nods his approval to the sign, and another 3-2 pitch. This misses inside and low for ball 4. The second walk in the game for Gill, and it allows Blake Hill to take first base. The first 2 have reached here for Milford in the inning. Runners at the corners with nobody out, and here is Kyle Nocera, who sent a fastball from Connor Gill deep out to left field in his first at-bat that went as a double. Making good contact, a good quick bat for Nocera. He takes the first pitch for ball 1. And now 2-0 the count. All of a sudden now the command fluctuating just a bit for Gill, and as a result, Matt Pingiatori, the catcher, brings the baseball back out to the pitcher's mound, says a few words before retreating back behind the plate. Connor Gill looking a bit mortal in these first 3 at-bats in the 4th inning. And now the 2-0 pitch misses inside. 3-0 the count. In danger of walking his second consecutive batter. Here is the pitch. Nocera elects not to swing, and he takes a strike. Nocera trying to stay patient. Now a count of 3-1. The next pitch on the way. That grabs the inside edge, and the count now runs full. Michael Ryan leading off the inning with a triple. He is at third base. Blake Hill walked. He is at first. Here's the payoff pitch, and it is inside for ball 4, a close pitch. Gill wanted it. It did not go his way. Back-to-back walks, and Milford will have the bases loaded here with nobody out in the 4th inning. And this will now bring head coach Chuck Tidman out of the Wachusett dugout. Base runners at a premium for Milford through these early innings. Just a single base runner in each of the first 2 innings. After the first 2 outs were recorded in the 3rd, Milford was able to get a single from Aiden Wild, followed by an RBI double by Andrew McMillan to drive in a run before Mike Caffarella struck out to end the inning. But a great opportunity here for Milford to try to scratch their way back into this game. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Drew Wild coming up to the plate. And the first pitch is low. It trickles away from Pingatore, but not far enough for the runner at third base to try it. We know this Milford team is capable of putting up runs in a hurry. They demonstrated that 2 days ago here on this field, as Drew Wild sends a pitch foul to even the count at 1-1. Drew Wild struck out swinging to conclude the 2nd inning. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It had Wild backing up, but it had a piece of the inside edge as well to bring the count to a ball and 2 strikes. Wachusett plays in tight at the corners on the infield. Here's the pitch, and getting a piece of that one is Wild. He rolls it foul. One ball and 2 strikes, nobody out, and a Milford runner at every base. Ryan at third, Hill at second, Nocera at first. And the 1-2 pitch, a check swing. And the count evens at 2-2. They don't check down to the infield umpire. Surprised that Pingatore wouldn't ask the umpire to check. The 2-2 pitch, and this is a liner back up the middle. That gets through for a base hit. Michael Ryan comes in to score. They will hold Blake Hill at third base on the RBI single from Drew Wild. That brings the score to 9-2. An RBI awarded to Drew Wild after a very good at-bat. So Blake Hill now the runner at third base with Nocera at second and Drew Wild at first. And we will see another pinch hitter in this game as Cole McNana will come up to bat for Griffin Lynch. He takes the first pitch low for ball 1, so already now Coach DeVito going to his bench for the 2nd time. Griffin Lynch now out of this game, as is Jeff Basazzi. And a quick 2-ball, no-strike count on McNana, taking his 2nd at-bat on this 2015 season. And he sends one on a hop right back to the pitcher. The throw to the plate out there. The throw to first gets in and out of the glove of Ventris. And McNana will be safe at first base. Milford avoids the double play. A potential run cut down at the plate as Hill is erased. And Milford will reset with the bases loaded. And now they'll go back up to the top of the order with Matt DeCina up for the 3rd time. So McNana safe on the fielder's choice as Ventris couldn't handle the throw from the catcher Pingatore. Coach DeVito going over to first base to check on McNana quickly before this at-bat for Tessina commenced. McNana remains in the game, and the first pitch into Tessina misses for ball one. Now the 1-0, and this pitch is driven out to right center field. Back goes Seaver. That's going to land for a hit. Coming around to score is Nocera. They will wave Drew Wild to the plate. He will score. It's a 2-run double for Matt Tessina, and it is now a 9-4 score. So Milford making some noise here in the fourth inning against Connor Gill. And all of a sudden now action starting to take place on the Wachusett sideline. Three runs home so far in the inning. Two more sit in scoring position with Aiden Wild at the plate. And he takes the pitch for ball one. So the command has really wavered here. It's been some long waits in between innings for Connor Gill. You don't know if perhaps that is a factor. But he now falls behind Aiden Wild, 2 balls and no strikes. Nocera and Drew Wild scoring on that double by Matt Tessina. And now a pitch right at the bottom of the strike zone into Aiden Wild brings the count to 2-1. Here is the 2-1. It's waved at and missed. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out in the inning. With Cole McNana at third base and Matt Tessina at second. Gill sets. Here is the pitch, fouled away up over the backstop. Count remains at 2-2. Andrew McMillan waits on deck. And Gill's next pitch is swung on and missed. It gets away from the catcher. The runner will come to the plate, and McNana tries to leap over Connor Gill. He is out. And meanwhile, safe at first base is Aiden Wild, and you certainly have to question the decision for the runner to come to the plate. That ball rolled just a few feet beyond the dirt encircling home plate. A dicey call. It was hard to tell if Coach DeVito waved McNana to the plate or if that was a decision Cole made on his own, but he is out at home. 2 outs now in the inning with runners at the corners now for Andrew McMillan. And there certainly was a chance with Aiden Wild's speed that he would have beaten that play at first base. Andrew McMillan now trying to keep the inning alive. Ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. So 2 potential runs cut down at home plate in this inning for Milford. Here's the 2-0. Misses away, 3 balls and no strikes. The 3-0 pitch. It's hit on the ground towards shortstop, fielded by Jordan Tevens. He makes the underhand toss to second base for the force play that ends the inning. And the rally will come to an end. Milford does put 3 runs on the scoreboard in the frame. And as we have now completed 4 innings of play from Pheno Field, it is now Wachusett 9 and Milford 4 here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Well, a good offensive inning finally for Milford in that 4th frame. They send 8 men to the plate. They score 3 runs, getting 3 runs on 3 hits against Connor Gill. And certainly a good inning, but it could have been more for Milford as they had 2 runners thrown out at home plate. A bad base running play in the inning. And so they settle for the 3 runs. They cut the deficit to 5 as we play on here into the 5th inning. And we will see a third pitcher on in this game for post 59 as Andrew McMillan will come in to take over for Brian Ireland after he pitched an inning and a third of relief. And a different looking defensive alignment now for Milford, as it looks like Aiden Wild will move in from the outfield to take over at third base. Cole McNana, who pinch hit in the previous half inning, now out in left field. And Blake Hill in from the DH spot to take over in right field, so no designated hitter in the game the rest of the way for post 59. And Andrew McMillan finishing up some warm-up tosses. He was waiting for a catcher to throw to. Still waiting for Michael Ryan to get the catcher's gear back on. Andrew McMillan working in relief for the second time this season. We remember how things went the first time around for McMillan, a bout of wildness that McMillan just could not shake in the second game of the season against Northborough. And it looks like the reason for the delay in this inning is that there will be a new catcher on for post 59, as it will eventually be Tyler Monahan. So Coach DeVito going heavy on his reserves as this game goes on, despite Milford scoring a couple of runs to try to get their way back into this game. And so now Monahan out there. He will catch the final few warm-up tosses. I did see Andrew McMillan throwing a session in the bullpen when I first arrived at the field earlier this evening, and McMillan looking strong and looking in control. Andrew McMillan, someone that Coach DeVito has relied upon pitching out of the bullpen in his Legion career, which is now in its 4th season. Sputtering out of the gate, but looking to get back on track pitching-wise, as he is about to square off with the 9, 1, and 2 batters in the Wachusett lineup. Tim Post will lead it off. Post a bunt single in his first at-bat, a conventional single in his second at-bat. He has scored a run and driven in a run. Very productive out of the number 9 spot. And the righty McMillan now ready to toss his first pitch. And it's in for a called strike 1. Andrew McMillan was tabbed as the original closer for post 59 last season. He's ready now with his 0-1 pitch. It misses outside. Coach DeVito, to start off last season, had planned on using David Sampson exclusively as a starter. But Sampson going through some arm fatigue after a long playoff run for Bellingham High School. He had to be shut down for a period of time, and then ultimately, to preserve his arm, Coach DeVito putting Sampson back in the bullpen, putting him back in his closer's role. McMillan moving to a setup role as he sends a pitch too far inside to Post and now falls behind in the count, 3 balls and a strike. Top of the Wachusett order waiting on deck. Here's the 3-1, and it is well outside for ball 4. Those last 2 pitches missing badly for McMillan. And hoping we will not see a recurrence of what happened for Andrew last Thursday in Northborough. McMillan ended up walking 2. And also threw 4 wild pitches in that relief appearance. Sends another pitch well outside. The first pitch to Jordan Tevens, missing for ball 1. He's missed with the last 5 straight. Tim Post at first base with Tevens at the plate. Here is the 1-0, and that one hits Jordan Tevens on the backside. So a walk and a hit by pitch for McMillan to start off this performance, and Coach DeVito pops right back out of the dugout. After firing a fastball on the first pitch of the inning in the inside corner for a called strike one, the control has wavered once again for Andrew McMillan. And it's certainly hard to put a finger on what has happened, but Coach DeVito is certainly not going to allow things to get out of control here, as he will make another pitching change. He will bring Aiden Wild in from third base to take over as the fourth pitcher, and Andrew McMillan will return right back to his defensive position at third base. So yet another pitching change in this game, as the first two Wachusett batters have reached here in the fifth. We'll step aside briefly, more to come, with Wachusett leading Milford 9-4 in the midst of the fifth inning, here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. We are just two batters deep into the bottom of the fifth inning, and Milford is already set to utilize their fourth pitcher of the night. It has been that kind of night for this post-59 pitching staff, and the first-year post-59 player, Aiden Wild, will be called upon here trying to get some outs in the fifth inning. Wild will face Keenan Kolanda, the second baseman for Wachusett. With runners at first and second base and nobody out in the inning, and Wild's first pitch dips in low for ball one. Aiden Wild did receive some pitching experience at the high school level in this 2015 season. And Milford right now trying to get their defensive alignment set. And looks like some confusion really all the way around, as now Kolanda will call timeout and trot down towards Coach Tidman in the third base coach's box to speak briefly. Now everyone's set. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's in for a called strike. Aiden Wild appeared in 2 games on the pitcher's mound for the Milford High School team this season. One of those was a start. He pitched a total of 4 1/3 innings. As now the bunt is put on by Kolanda, fielded at third base. The throw from Andrew McMillan is wild. A terrific lunging play by Mike Caffarella to keep that ball from going to the backstop, and for now, it prevents a run from scoring. Caffarella might have tweaked something in his shoulder, as he really had to lunge full out to corral that wild throw. It should go as an infield single for Kolanda, as it was a tricky play all the way around. But the bases are loaded here for Wachusett, and you have to wonder a little bit, up by 5 runs, why you would have the bunt play on. But Wachusett not taking their foot off the gas pedal in this game. And now Connor Gill pops a pitch up foul behind first base. It will drift far out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike on Connor Gill, who has 2 hits, an RBI, and a run scored. A good day offensively and a good day on the pitcher's mound, with the exception of a bit of a shaky inning in the 4th. But his team has maintained a 5-run lead, and they have an opportunity for more here, with the bases loaded and no outs in the inning. Tim Post reached on a walk. He's at third. Jordan Tevens was hit by a pitch. He's at second. Keenan Kolanda reaching on that infield single is at first base, and now Aiden Wild has gone to a 3-ball, 1-strike count against Connor Gill. Wild to the set. Here is the pitch, and it misses inside for ball 4. Connor Gill works the bases loaded walk, and in from third base comes Tim Post with the 10th Wachusett run. So after Milford was able to chip away just a bit in the bottom of the fourth inning, Wachusett getting a run back and an opportunity for more. The bases remain loaded. And the first pitch into Dan Jankura is strike one. That run charged to Andrew McMillan. And now this pitch is hit in the air deep out to left field by Jankura. That's over the head of Cole McNana. One run comes in to score, make it 2 runs. Coming around third base is Connor Gill. He will score as Dan Jankura clears the bases with a double. And it is now a 13-4 lead for Wachusett post 42. That ball quickly up and over the head of McNana, rolling deep out into right field. All 3 runners come in to score. That's already been a 4-run inning for Wachusett, and they have not yet recorded an out here in the 5th. Eric Seaver looking to keep the line moving, a swing and a miss. So 2 of the runs in the inning charged to Andrew McMillan, 2 charged to the current pitcher, Aiden Wild. And Aiden Wild hitting Eric Seaver. That's the second hit by pitch, and things really coming unglued for Milford here. Aiden Wild, since coming into the game, has allowed an infield single, a bases loaded walk, a 3-run double, and now a hit by pitch. And Tyler Monahan with a brief visit at the pitcher's mound. It's 2 on with nobody out, and already now the 7th batter coming to the plate in the inning, Tanyan Ventress. A 9-run lead now for Wachusett. The next pitch into Ventress is high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ventress has been on base twice. He reached on an error and scored. He doubled to drive in 2 runs. And after Milford, more on that after this next pitch, as this one is hit on the ground to deep short. A nice play by DeCina, who was able to range and throw to third to get the force out there. It cuts down Jankura. Moving up to second base is Ventress, and safe at first on the fielder's choice. Safe at second base is Eric Seaver. Reaching first base on the fielder's choice is Ventress. 2 on now as the first out of the inning is finally recorded. And first pitch swinging Ryan Walsh hits one on the ground to third base. Andrew McMillan takes it to the bag for the out there, and the throw to first completes the inning-ending 5-3 double play. But 8 men come to the plate in the inning for Wachusett post 42. 4 of them come around to score. And we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. It is a 13-4 lead for Wachusett over Milford. Things ugly here at Pheno Field tonight. More on the way next here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Wachusett scoring 4 more runs in the game on the benefit of just 2 hits in the top of the 5th inning. Milford pitching, walking 2 in the frame, also hitting a batter, hitting 2 batters in the inning. Andrew McMillan with a walk and a hit by pitch in his brief appearance in the 5th inning. Aiden Wild coming on. He allowed an infield single, a walk, a bases clearing double before finally getting out of the inning. And meanwhile, leading off the bottom of the 5th inning is Caffarella, who promptly lines a pitch out into left center field for a leadoff single. Caffarella taking his second at bat since coming into the game. He's now 1 for 2. And now Tyler Monahan will take an at bat, replacing Michael Ryan defensively in the top half of this inning. He swings at the first pitch and hits the ball about a mile high in foul ground. And that ball eventually lands well out of play. That ball hit so high, even Connor Gill lost sight of it. He thought he had a play in foul ground over by the third base dugout, and that ball ended up taking a bounce beyond the field of play and behind the stands that are to the right of the third base dugout. Mike Caffarella collecting Milford's 7th hit to lead off this 5th inning. Milford had narrowed the deficit to 5 after scoring 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. But they now stare up at a 9-run deficit. It's the largest lead Wachusett has had. As Monahan now strikes out for the first out of the inning. And that is the 10th strikeout in the game for Connor Gill. Coach Tidman now out of the dugout, and it looks like he will take the baseball from Gill. No need to tire his ace pitcher any further with this game seemingly well in hand for Wachusett. So Connor Gill's day on the mound done. He comes off the pitcher's mound with a much different demeanor than he did the last time he played here at Pheno Field, enjoying a 13-4 lead. So a pitching change here for Wachusett. We will tell you who the relief pitcher is when we return from this quick commercial break. 13-4, Wachusett leads it. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. The new pitcher on for Wachusett post 42 is number 42, Jordan Weber. The tall lefty reliever replaces Connor Gill, who went the first 4 1/3 innings. Allowed 4 runs on 7 hits. He walked 3 and struck out an even 10. Coach Tidman getting the starter out of the game here in the 5th inning. It is a 9-run lead for Wachusett. 13-4 the score. Milford with a runner at first base with 1 out in the inning. And Blake Hill, who is now the right fielder, before he sees a pitch, Weber will check in at first base where Caffarella is back. A long look over at first, and again, Weber will toss over in that direction. Caffarella, not really much of a base stealing threat. Weber finally ready to toss to the plate and gets a pitch past the bat of Blake Hill for strike 1. Blake Hill so far tonight struck out in the 2nd inning. He walked as part of that rally last inning for Milford, but was thrown out on a forced play at the plate with the bases loaded. A 1-ball, 1-strike count now on Hill. Here's the next pitch. It's swung on and missed. After the righty Connor Gill pitched the first 4 1/3 innings, Milford now getting a look from the left side with Weber, who will send another pickoff toss over to first base. Mike Caffarella appeared in 20 games for Post 59 last season and did not have a stolen base. And finally, Weber sends another pitch to the plate, and it is strike 3 to Blake Hill. The last 2 Milford batters retired on strikeouts. That K, the first one for Jordan Weber who now pitches with 2 outs in the inning. And Nocera with a big swing and a miss for strike 1. It's been a good day offensively for Nocera, who doubled in his first at-bat, walked and scored a run in his second at-bat. He has looked much more comfortable at the plate with post 59 over his last 2 games. Nocera with a walk, a hit, an RBI, and 2 runs scored in the win against Leominster on Sunday. He is down in the count now, no balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the inning, and Caffarella at first base. Here is the pitch. It's a breaking ball that does not break. It stays up around eye level of Nocera. Stevens will look back in as Nocera settles into the batter's box. Here is the pitch, and it's sprayed foul. 1-2 now the count. Some of the spectators here at Fino Field have vacated the premises, a lot still collected in the pavilion area in front of the concession stand. As Nocera takes a look at the 1-2 pitch, which is in for a called strike 3. A trio of called strikeouts brings an end to this bottom half of the 5th inning. It remains a 9-run lead for Wachusett as they lead it 13-4 over Milford, headed to the 6th inning. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. Milford post 59 hoping to ride a wave of momentum into this game after their mercy rule victory over Leominster on Sunday afternoon here at Fino, but right now they are in jeopardy of suffering a mercy rule loss. Right now the lead for post 42 is 9 runs. Aiden Wild back out on the mound for post 59. He faces Matt Pingatore to lead off the top of the 6th. We have yet to see Coach Tidman go to his bench at all for the lineup. Sending a relief pitcher in the last inning. Meanwhile, Pingatore sends a soft ground ball over towards the left side. The throw from Andrew McMillan off the mark. It ends up out of play down the right field line and ending up at second base. It's Pingatore. So that will likely go as a single and a throwing error on McMillan. And his control issues, which cropped up once again on the pitcher's mound, have continued on in his defense at third base, as we've seen a couple of errant throws from McMillan since he returned to third. So a runner in scoring position. And Tim Post, the number 9 hitter, up at the plate, takes the first pitch for a called strike. 3 times to the plate and 3 times on base for Post. A bunt single, a traditional single, and a walk. He has 2 runs scored and an RBI. As this ball is hit softly on the ground to short, picked up by DeCina. The throw to first base is not in time. It was too slow developing. Very quick hands for DeCina to try to make up some of the distance. He came in on the infield grass, squeezed it in the glove, and quickly threw to first base, but just not in time. Tim Post beating it out for an infield single and his 4th time on base. Runners at the corners with nobody out, and back up to the top spot in the lineup. And the first pitch into Stevens is a called strike 1. Continuing with all the starters out there, as Stevens, who has led off so far today. Now hits a ground ball out to right field. That will go for a base hit, and trotting in to score the 14th Wachusett run is Pinjatore. And we'll see if that will be the final play in the game. As Coach DeVito now comes out of the dugout, he signals to the umpire. Right now out to talk with Aiden Wild. He will take the baseball from Wild. It looks like the game will continue. So allowing Milford to bat in the bottom half of this inning, but right now the deficit has reached 10 runs, so we will at least play on to the bottom half of the inning before mercy rules would come into effect. So a 14-4 score now, as another pitching change will be made, and a first here for Matt DeCina as he will come in from shortstop to take over on the pitcher's mound. We will allow DeCina some time to warm up, and we will return on the broadcast in just a moment. Another run on the scoreboard for Wachusett to up their lead to 14-4. Coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on First Class Radio. Matt DeCina is in his third season now with Post 59. We have not ever seen him in capacity as pitcher, but we will here this evening as he will come on as the fifth pitcher for Post 59 in this game. Matt DeCina in his career with Milford Post 59, we've seen him play 3 of the 4 infield positions, second base, shortstop, and third base. We saw him mostly at the left field spot throughout last season. Tabbed as the starting shortstop this year, but pressed into service as an emergency reliever here as Milford has had to go 5 deep now in pitchers for this game. And showing a live arm here, he's gotten ahead of the Wachusett batter. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It is Ryan Broden who has come on to pinch hit for Keenan Kolanda. And Broden sends a little tapper out towards the pitcher's mound. DeCina fields and throws to third to catch the lead runner. So DeCina continuing to show off his good defensive skills. DeCina, one of the most fundamentally sound defensive players I have seen wear a Post 59 uniform no matter what position he plays. Just good instincts for what to do with the baseball. So he's able to get the first out, and now he delivers in strike 1 to Jordan Weber. Jordan Weber, who came on to pitch for Connor Gill in the previous inning, now taking his spot in the lineup in this number 3 spot. So a lot of personnel utilized now on both sides, as this pitch is waved at and missed. And again, showing good velocity for DeCina. And the fans that remain here at Fino Field showing their appreciation for the efforts of DeCina. The Hopkinton High School student, here's his 1-2 pitch, and it's sent foul off to the right. High spirits in the Wachusett dugout too. From the reactions, it seems as though Jordan Weber has not taken a tremendous amount of at-bats for this Wachusett team as he waves and misses. Down for strike 3. So a strikeout for DeCina. It is just the second strikeout for Milford pitching on the day, so 5 pitchers and only 2 strikeouts between them. And now it will be Ryan Jones to pinch hit here with 2 outs in the inning. Ryan Jones, a swing and a miss for strike 1. Jones batting in the place of Dan Jankura, who knocked in 4 runs in his 4 at-bats. Sends a floater foul up over the backstop and out of play, and he is down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. And Matt DeCina has not looked like a player who is uncomfortable in this relief pitching role. Delivers this pitch in low, and Jones able to hold up on the swing. So we've seen pinch hitters in the last 3 at-bats for Wachusett. Here is the 1-2 pitch. It's hit hard on the ground. That's going to be snagged on the way by, and that will prevent another run from coming in to score. Andrew McMillan now at shortstop. So Andrew McMillan started this day at third base, a brief appearance in relief that brought Aiden Wild in to take over at third. The 2 switched positions for an inning plus. And now with DeCina on to pitch, it's Wild back at third base with McMillan at short. And now Eric Seaver will retain his spot in the lineup. Wachusett with the bases loaded. Two outs in the inning and a no-ball, 2-strike count on Seaver. DeCina into his windup, the pitch up and away. DeCina, another player for post 59 that bats from the left side but throws from the right. Here is the 1-2 pitch. It's popped up, giving a look as Monahan, but that is out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes remains the count with 2 outs and the bases full. A 10-run lead for the Wombats. One of just 2 teams in Zone 4 to utilize a mascot. Wachusett known as the Wombats. Eastside, the other team with a mascot name, the Raiders. Everyone else merely going by their post number. DeCina, a long look into Tyler Monahan for the sign. Now he winds and fires. The umpire giving that pitch a good long look, but ruling it a ball, evening the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. This game now has reached the 2-hour mark. The next pitch on the way from DeCina, and this is a line drive that gets through the right side of the infield. 1 run comes in to score as Tevens crosses the plate. And so now it is a 15-4 lead. And we will see yet another pinch hitter, Josh Bombard, will step to the plate. Taking on the righty pitcher, DeCina.
Number 20, Josh Bombard. Bombard.
Right now it is bases loaded once again with 2 outs in the inning. DeCina trying to get Milford through this inning. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Three balls and 1 strike now the count. 8 batters have come to the plate so far here in this top of the 6th inning. DeCina's next pitch, this is a floater out to shallow left center field. That's trouble, it gets down for a hit, and it will be 2 more runs for Wachusett. A 2-run single for the pinch hitter Bombard, and 17 runs on the scoreboard now for post 42, really making it hurt for Milford. One is a single for Bombard. And now this is a shallow fly ball down the right field line. It twists foul. A good effort from Blake Hill as he sprinted into foul ground to try to make the catch. Ryan Walsh, the 9th member of post 42 to come to the plate in this inning. He bats with Seaver at third base, Josh Bombard at first, and now this ball is hit slowly on the ground to second base, fielded by Wild. The throw to first base gets there in time for the out that ends the inning, but another monster number put on the scoreboard in this inning for post 42. And as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning, it is a 17-4 lead for Wachusett over Milford. Coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on First Class Radio. It has gotten ugly here at Pheno Field. It has been a game that really has been out of Milford's reach since the top half of the 1st inning. There has not been an inning in this game in which Milford pitching has been able to hold Wachusett off the scoreboard. They scored 4 runs right away in the 1st inning, scoring single runs in the 2nd and 3rd. They put 3 runs on the scoreboard in the 4th inning and have scored 4 times in each of the last 2 innings to pull ahead in this game by a score of 17-4. And I do believe in my now 4 seasons of covering Milford Legion baseball, this is by far the most runs I have ever seen Milford pitching allow in a game. I do not have a stat handy for the most runs Milford has ever allowed in a game, but it has not been good for the pitching staff tonight, as now Milford, barring a comeback of epic proportions in this inning, will suffer a mercy rule defeat. Drew Wild leading it off in this bottom of the 6th inning against Jordan Weber, back out there for his first full inning of relief, pitched the final 2/3 of the 5th inning. A 3-ball, 1-strike count on Wild, who swings away and lost the pitch foul. And for Milford, who came into this game feeling very good about themselves with a terrific offensive performance 48 hours ago against Leominster, left once again looking for answers, particularly on the pitcher's mound. We knew this was going to be a transition year for Milford on the mound, losing so many experienced arms from last year's team. Here's the 3-2 pitch into Drew Wild. It misses inside for ball 4, so Wild will reach on the leadoff walk. He is on base now for the 2nd time. He singled to drive in a run back in the 4th inning. And now Cole McNana will come to bat for the 2nd time since entering the game. He pinch hit for Griffin Lynch back in the 4th. Reached on a fielder's choice and was eventually thrown out on a bad base running play. McNana at third base trying to score on a passed ball that did not get very far away from the catcher. And just a laundry list of things that have not gone right for post 59 tonight Not a lot of success on the base paths, not a lot of success on the pitcher's mound, and outside of that 3-run 4th inning, there hasn't been a whole lot of offensive output either, with just a total of 4 runs on 7 hits. McNana ahead in the count here, 2 balls and no strikes. And the pitch is lifted foul off to the right. Milford does have a scheduled day off coming up tomorrow, so I would have to imagine that there will be a lot to deal with at practice as this ball is hit on the ground up the middle. Taking it to the second base bag himself is the shortstop. The throw on to first completes the 6-3 double play. Tevens still in the game defensively and takes that slow roller that got underneath the glove of the pitcher, gets the out at second base himself, and fires to first in time to complete the 6-3 double play that puts Milford down to their last potential out. And now left up to Matt DeCina. Tries to bend out of the way of that pitch. It grabbed the handle of the bat, ricocheted out of play, so an unlucky foul ball, and Matt DeCina quickly finds himself down in the count, 0-2. Weber looking to finish it out for Wachusett. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball, and it stays just a little bit high, close to being strike 3. A 1-2 count now. The next pitch from Weber, and that misses outside. Weber setting up shop on the extreme third base side of the pitching rubber. Readies himself for a 2-2 pitch. Here it is, and a foul ball. And you have to commend a lot of these Milford players, despite things not going their way tonight. We've still seen players engaged, showing good effort. DeCina tops on that list. Here is the 2-2 pitch, and that misses just inside. Another close pitch, and the count goes to 3-2. Here is the payoff pitch, and that is in for a called strike 3. DeCina thought he might have had ball 4. Instead, it is a called strike 3. And that will quite literally bring a merciful end to this ball game. Mercy rules come into apply here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and 2 days after Milford grabbed their first victory of the season on a mercy rule win, they find themselves on the losing end of a mercy rule game here today at the hands of Wachusett, losing this game to post 42 by a lopsided margin of 17-4.